Jamal Niaz here with the absolute icon Sabu at For the Love of Wrestling with Monopoly Events. Lots of old friends to catch up with. What's it been like interacting with the fans as well?
It's been great. It's been pretty good. A lot of these fans here, I ain't been here in a few years, so they remember who I am, so that always feels good.
How could we forget? One of the greatest icons we've ever seen in pro wrestling. I'm guessing there's been a lot of time for reflection on those early days in ECW, such a special time for pro wrestling. If you just had to handpick 3 favourite moments from that time in ECW, it'd be very hard to pick, but what would you say?
My very first match with Taz, my very first time in 1993 in ECW, my first appearance. That was most memorable. The second was the night the line was crossed, me and Terry Funk and Shane Douglas. And then the other would be my Born to Be Wired match with Terry Funk in 1997.
So the barbed wire match you mentioned with Terry Funk, am I correct in believing that was the match with the bicep injury? There we go. You can see that right there.
Excuse me, I got skinny, but...
So you just explain exactly how that injury happened, and would you say that's the most painful injury that you've had?
It wasn't painful. It was just... it was scary because I got dizzy and I lost a lot of blood. It wasn't that painful. It sliced straight through me. It was so quick. It didn't. I didn't really feel it. What was most painful was when I broke my neck against Chris Benoit. That was most painful. But when I did my arm, it didn't really hurt. It just shocked me because you could see my muscle and I cut my muscle in half. So it was a pretty horrific injury. But not painful.
Not painful. Well, I would have been screaming.
I was screaming.
You have your retirement match coming up in GCW against Joey Janela, which, a lot of fans are going to be sad to see you go. What's it like working with GCW as well? They're like the new ECW, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's not going to guarantee. It's not a retirement match. It's my last match, except for it's one of my last matches. If I lose, it's my last match. If I win, I'm going to continue. I'll probably keep wrestling until I lose. Hopefully I don't lose this first one, but we'll see. Or this last one, next one. But it's not a retirement match. I'm already retired. That's already said. But I'm gonna have one more match. I don't want to end my career on my last match, what I had a few years ago, which was very bad.
What do you make of working with GCW as well? Because they're bringing that similar sort of energy to what ECW were bringing back in those early days. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally agree with it. I like what they're doing. It's fast-paced and hard-hitting like ECW was and groundbreaking. Except for I didn't really pick them. They called me, and so they may be the best offer, except for it's a little too soon for me. I didn't want to have my last match in April, so hopefully I can train enough to get in shape by then.
Is there anyone in modern pro wrestling now where you feel they would have translated really well to that ECW era that you feel you could have had some incredible matches with?
Not really, because now today guys are trained different. They're brought up different, and that was back 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So to take guys from today and put them back 25 years ago, I don't think I don't know anybody that would really fit it, other than I don't know.
Maybe Darby Allin from AEW.
Maybe, but except for he's too skinny. Everybody don't have to be a bodybuilder, but everybody should be an athlete. Mm-hmm. I know he's an athlete, but he doesn't quite look like one. And nothing against him personally, other than I think he should gain some weight. For me to follow him and to say he should be the same grit as ECW back then, he'd have to gain some weight.
What was that period like when ECW was revised in 2006?
He can gain weight. He doesn't want to. He doesn't have to.
When ECW was revived in 2006, you go and have that tremendous match with Rey Mysterio. It seemed like that old school vibe was being brought back, but then it kind of got changed. It definitely shifted, didn't it, into something else. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, it sucked. Because when I first came in, they said we wanted Sabu to be Sabu from 1996. The way Sabu was then. No speaking, have a manager, wrestle the way I want to wrestle, boom. So when I got in there, the first couple months was okay. And then it slowly, when Paul Heyman got fired from the booking, it changed from the old ECW to the new ECW, which those guys weren't ready yet. They were having us go down to the new breed, and they weren't ready for that.
Final one from me. When it's all said and done, and when you've had your last match, how would you want Sabu's legacy to be remembered in pro wrestling?
That I set a gold standard that I would not accept for anything less. I set a standard, and if anything was less, that's for myself. I set a standard in my own life. If I can't achieve that gold standard, then I don't want to do it. But my legacy, I don't know. It's nothing. I can't say what my legacy is. You have to. If I tell you, it's not real. But if you tell me, maybe I'll believe it.
I'll say it that you are one of the most incredible, death-defying wrestlers we've ever seen, who just keeps you jaw-dropping.
Bottom line, I'm not a gymnast. I'm a wrestler. See, the guys today, nothing against them personally, I'm not a hater, but they're mostly gymnasts, acrobats. I'm a wrestler that does acrobats. I'm not a gymnast that does wrestling.
Well, I would say you're an incredible innovator of pro wrestling, and the sport wouldn't be where it's at without you. Simple as that.
Well, you can't put that on me, but but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great weekend here in Manchester and know how loved you are in this part of the world.
I'll tell you this: it's the best weekend I've ever had for autograph signings. It's the best, yeah.
Awesome. Well, you're very beloved on this part of the world, so
Thank you.
appreciate it.